Hello, my name is Lizzie, and this is Lizzie's Literary Life. And today we are beginning a vlog wherein we will read The Way of Kings, give you all my spoilery thoughts, and finish this frickin' blanket. This video is mostly for Danielle from Danielle Reads. Danielle, I love you. This video is for you. If you're not Danielle, you can still watch it, but just know this is a video for Danielle. Because this blanket is for Danielle. When it is done, I will be sending it to her for her enjoyment. And The Way of Kings is one of Danielle's favorite books from last year, so this is the first Friends Faves that I'm reading this year. Yeah, that's the concept. We're reading, listening to The Way of Kings, and finishing this blanket. This is the Taylor Swift Eras Tour blanket. I'm going to cut to a clip in just a minute where I explain a lot more about this blanket. But basically, I just have to do the border to make it bigger to finish it. And I have been sitting on that for a long time. So I really need the push to get it done. Let's just go to that clip. Okay, I am here to give you a tour of this blanket that I will be hopefully finishing in this vlog. The pattern will be linked down below. The pattern is basically just a tapestry pattern, but it's not, they don't just give you the grid, they actually write out like where all the color changes are, so like 5 white, 2 black, 4 pink, that kind of thing, going across, which I found really, really helpful rather than just following the chart, like the picture. Though I will, if you are planning to make it, I don't know if I recommend it, but I had a great time with it. If you are planning to make it, the 1989 square, the pattern was slightly wrong. Like the written out part was different from the picture, and I had to but that's the only one where there was an issue, and maybe the pattern maker has fixed it since then. I don't know. But basically, this is obviously the Taylor Swift Eras Tour poster. It is the Tortured Poets Department poster, because that's when I started making it, was pre-TTPD. So that's not on here, but we have obviously Midnights in the middle. We've got Folklore and Evermore at the bottom. Reputation, which might be my favorite, actually. I love that square. Lover is my least favorite square, I think, even though it's maybe one of my favorite albums. Red and 1989, and then at the top we have Debut, Fearless, and Speak Now. And what I'm doing is I'm just making it bigger, because it's kind of an awkward size for a blanket. And Danielle gave me dimensions that she kind of wanted it to be, which are really, reasonable dimensions for like a couch type blanket, which I think was 48 by 60 inches. So 48 inches wide, 60 inches long. And that is going to be, possible. I just am going to need to make it bigger with this white border. So as you'll see, the rest of it, the tapestry part, this part, is all single crochets. And then just to move a little faster, I'm doing double crochets around and around in a border, increasing at the corners. I might need to do more increases at the corners as it gets bigger. I'm just going to play it by ear because it's curling a little. But yeah, we're doing rounds of double crochet. I think I'm going to need to do 20 rounds to make it the size I want it to be. And currently I'm like almost done because the round starts and ends in that corner. I am nearly done with my 5th round. So I have basically 15 plus a little bit rounds to go. That doesn't sound like a lot, but these rounds take a long time. I want to count how many double crochets it is to go all the way around, and it gets more because of the increase of the corners. That number of double crochets gets bigger every round. So yeah, it takes a really long time per round, and also it's just like boring. Like the tapestry part, doing the color work was really, really fun for me. I loved it, and I'm really proud of myself for the color work. I think it's really well done. Not to toot my own horn, but toot toot. Especially for I didn't really do any big tapestry projects before this. I did like a tiny one to learn how to do it, and then I just launched right into this. The tapestry part was really fun, but the border, double crocheting all day, every day for the rest of my life, is so boring in white. So boring. So that's why I'm doing this vlog, to like really give me that kick to finish it with reading The Way of Kings. And then also I think it's going to be a fun vlog for Danielle to watch, and hopefully you too, if you're not Danielle. So this is the blanket. We are going to get started. We're going to get moving. Okay, couple other things to explain, but you can look at my face this time instead of that blanket. You can also look at this blanket, which is my 2024 genre blanket. For the other thing I need to do, once I finish those 20 rounds of white around the border, my plan is to line the back with fleece, because this yarn, like, it's a cheap acrylic. I can tell you what all the yarns are. The white is Loops and Threads Color Craft, and then the colors are like a mix of Loops and Threads Soft Classic, Loops and Threads Impeccable, and Red Heart Super Saver. So they're just like cheap acrylic yarns. So it's not like the softest. It's not rough. Like, it's not soft. It's still a yarn, but it's not like the softest. And the back, I'll show you just the back of this part. Like, it's kind of messy looking. I did not carry my yarn through. I floated it on the back. So the back looks like this. And there's also all of these ends that, of course, I am not going to weave in because I don't want to. So I'm going to tie off the ends to secure them. That's something I still need to do, is go through and make sure all the yarn ends are tied secure. And then I'm going to get some blue fleece, midnight navy, midnight blue, to match the Midnight's section. That was what Danielle wanted, and line the whole back of it with that fleece, really soft fleece, so that like when you're cuddling on the couch with it, it's soft. So that's the other thing I have to do after the border rows are done. And then the other thing I wanted to explain is about the book. So I haven't started it yet. The Way of Kings. So it's a long book. It's a 45-hour audiobook. I will be audiobooking it, obviously, so I can crochet while I'm doing it. So every month, the past few months, I have like a very ambitious TBR. And I have made, in order to get through it, a master schedule, which basically says how many pages and how many percent I need to read of each book each day. This is what it looks like. This is February. So I'm reading Daily Pages of War and Peace. That's down this side, which is going to be in another vlog, my Jokes episode 6, which is not up yet because I will not have finished War and Peace by the end of February. My daily percent of Way of Kings, which is why I kind of am showing you that. And then just the other books that I'm reading throughout the month, like basically what I can look at. Oh, today is the 11th. It's not, but when it gets to the 11th, I can look at the row for 11 and say, oh, I need to be on page 165 of War and Peace, 38% of Way of Kings, finish Winter, Scarlet, 50%. Like and that guides my reading for the month. All that to say, I'm planning to read Way of Kings throughout the entire month of February. The 45-hour audiobook, I will do it on double speed. I actually haven't started, so I don't know. Sometimes Brando Sando audiobooks, I have to do a little slower than 2 times speed, because one of the narrators that narrates a lot of his books has a really deep voice, and deep voices like don't speed up as well for me in my ears and my brain processing speed, but we'll see. So I'm planning to read basically 3 or 4% per day. It's like, it averages out, like the 100 divided by 28 days is 3.5%. So the goal is 3.5% per day, to keep on track, which is like, at 2 times speed, I think it's like 40 minutes of reading per day. Yeah, the plan is to spend the entire month of February reading Way of Kings and finishing this, and hopefully I can finish both of those things at around the same time. I honestly don't know whether this is going to take a lot longer or a lot shorter than the 22 something hours it'll take me to read Way of Kings, but hopefully we can finish them both in this video. Also, I'm sure this is in the title, but I do plan for this to be a spoilery vlog about Way of Kings. Danielle does spoiler vlogs on her channel, has done spoiler vlogs for all the Stormlight Archive on her channel, and I haven't watched them yet because I don't want spoilers, obviously, but I'm gonna watch them as I read the books, and I kind of wanted to do a spoilery vlog back at her for this one. So if you haven't read The Way of Kings, you can still watch this video, because I will do something to delineate when I'm talking spoilers and when I'm not. Like if you're just here for the crochet content, you can still watch this, just be careful, and you're gonna have to skip through stuff. So there's your warning. Um, yeah. Okay. Let's go. Okay, so I finished my 6th round, right? Six, one, wait. I'm gonna count it with you. I think it was my 6th round. I thought it was my 6th round. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, finished my 6th round on the border, and I am 7% of the way in to the Way of Kings, which I think is chapter 5. I so far am overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed. There's like a prelude to like the series. I think it's in. I'm listening to it on Audible because I had an Audible credit, and it's like long waits at the library for the audiobook. And there, in the table of contents, like the prelude, it says prelude to the Stormlight Archive, and then there's the prologue to the book itself, and then we get into part 1. And each of those different things, like, so we have the characters in the prelude, we have the characters in the prologue, then we have the characters in chapter 1, and then there's like, in like, I think chapter 3, we get a new perspective and there's more characters. And it's not actually, I don't think it's like that many characters. I mean, it is a lot of characters, but I just am like overwhelmed by like how like the world building is overwhelming me so far. But I think, I mean, I'm sticking with it. I'm gonna trust the process of this book. And what else do we have? We've got these spren, which I also don't really understand. But there's like wind spren they seem like little like sprites that are like the essence of like wind or like hunger or like whatever. I'm hoping that gets explained more. We also have like Stormlight itself and shards and all of these different magic things. It's just a lot going on so far, but I'm about to listen for another sprint to that. Get some more work on this done, and yeah. Okay, I've finished my 7th round, so only 13 more to go. I should actually at some point time how long it takes me to do one round. Um, I would like to know that number, but I'm sure it is large. I would guess probably like an hour. I don't know. Anyway, I finished my 7th round and I've been listening to more. Um, I am getting more settled into the characters. We've got Kaladin, who was some sort of military leader, I think, and then somehow was sold into slavery, and now he's he's a slave on one of these bridge crews, which is basically just like where slaves go to die. Like, it's really miserable. And he's got this Windspren who has kind of taken a fancy to him, called Syl, and she is like, seems like kind of like a fairy, like, and she can talk, and she apparently it's abnormal for Windspren or like any Spren to like build a personal relationship with someone and like remember their name, but this Windspren Syl has done that. And then in our other perspective, we have, what's her name? Starts with an S. It's like, I can't picture it because I'm listening to the audiobook. I need to look at like a character list or something. Starts with an S, like Shalyn or something. And she is trying to become the ward of Yasna Kolin, who is like I think like basically like an aristocrat somehow. All of this is first 10%, no spoilers. I don't think in the summary. Though I have decided when I am talking spoilers when I'm editing, I'm going to give you a verbal warning of spoilers ahead, and then I'm also going to like shrink my video so there's like a black outline around the screen, and so like that when that goes away, it's safe to come back, right? But that's what we have so far. Just like I'm at like I think like 12 or 13%. And yeah, that's where we're at. We've got Kaladin's perspective and the other girl's perspective, whose name I can't quite remember. And we're getting world building a little bit. There's Stormlight, there's shards, and that's the magic system. But then there are also these Spren, and I need to look back at the maps to kind of situate myself in where everyone is. But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. Intrigue is getting higher, I think, as I learn the characters in the world. Okay, a couple things to update you on. Firstly, I did finish I think my eighth, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. My 8th round of this border. It took me just over an hour and a half. I think 94 minutes. So if I'm going to do a total of 20 rounds of border, which I will have to measure after that and see if that's enough, but I think that's going to be enough. If I do a total of 20 rounds of border and each one takes me about an hour and a half, but they are going to get incrementally longer each time because of the increases. But basically, I'm on track to finish the border about the same time I finish the book, which is good. And my update on the book, I'm now at 19%, and I wish I was more into it, I have to say. I know that like fantasy takes a while to get into, and I am listening to it on audio, which might have been a mistake, but I listened to all the other Brandon Sandersons I've read on audio. Like, I really liked the Mistborn audiobook, so I don't know. I mean, I'm not liking it. I just I'm struggling to get into it. I'm struggling to find the intrigue and keep track of all the characters, if I'm being honest. I need to find like a spoiler-free character list for this book. I think that would help me a lot, just to like keep track of what's going on. But yeah, I just am like not super, the intrigue isn't super high at this point, but it is still early days, so that is fine. It's okay. Okay, so I finished another round. I'll show you. It is just white. Doesn't look like much, but it's my 9th round, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. My 9th round. Like I initially said I was going to try to get to 20. Having remeasured, I think it might need to be closer to 25 to get to the dimensions that I want, but it is what it is. We will go until it's done. As for Way of Kings, I'm now at about 25%, maybe 26%, and I'm still struggling with it. I haven't looked up a character list yet, but I should do that. Maybe I'll ask Danielle to do that for me, just because I'm really scared of running into spoilers. So, like, I'll see if maybe she can find one of, like, a spoiler-free Way of Kings character list that just gives me, like, especially because, okay, so now I'm in part 2, or book 2, or whatever it's called. And we got even more perspectives. Like, we got a new perspective with even more characters and character names in the beginning of part 2, as well as there were like the interludes in between the parts, which were like totally different perspectives, maybe different parts of the world. I don't really know what's going on. There's just like kind of a lot. I am struggling to get invested in like wanting to pick it up, and it honestly doesn't help that working on this is so boring. But it is what it is. I am glad that I'm getting it done. And I'm really glad, I'll be really glad to have it finished and to send it off to Danielle. But I'm gonna go into a little bit of spoilers just to like break down the different perspectives and how I'm feeling about them. Quick spoilers. So we had our two perspectives from the beginning after the prelude and the prologue and whatever that was. We had Kaladin, who he's the storyline I'm interested in the most because at this point he is on the bridge crew. So he's like fodder for war, and he's just like a dispensable, so completely dispensable soldier. I think that's the word I'm looking for. Disposable, completely disposable soldier. But he has been able to get himself to the position of bridge leader, and he's really like, he's trying, I don't know what his goal necessarily is, but he's trying to turn his bridge crew into like an actual army that values their lives, or like values a job well done. And so that's kind of interesting to me just because I'm curious kind of what his ultimate goals are. I know he wants to get off the bridge crew, obviously, because it's really awful, but I'm curious where he's going to go. So that's the perspective I'm the most interested in. And then we had in part 1 the perspective of, her name starts with S, I think SH, like Shalyn, something like that. We haven't had her perspective in a while, so I don't know. But she's the one who's trying to become a ward of Yasna. And last we heard of her, she succeeded. She like got into that position, and she has all these ulterior motives about like trying to steal the Yasna's, what's it called, magic person. She's trying to steal Yasna's magic person to change the fortunes of her family. And that was interesting, but we haven't had that in a while. And then at the beginning of part 2, we had a lot of like several chapters from the like king's nephew, whose name is like Dalinar, I think, and he's related to Yasna, and also like he has a son, I think he's the king's nephew, I'm not sure, maybe, and his brother was killed. There's just like so many names flying around, and I'm keeping up, but like just barely, and I was not really interested in that storyline. Like I just feel like it was more setup, and I feel like we've had setup this entire book, which it's 25%. It's not that much relative to the book, but it's like 25% of an 1,000-page book is 250 pages. That's a lot. And like, how many hours have I spent listening to this? That's where I'm at. I'm most interested in Kaladin's storyline. And I would like to get back to our girlies storyline. Oh, also, Kaladin has befriended or been befriended by a wind spren who is like learning things in a way that spren never really do. She is just there, and I don't know her purpose yet, but she seems really important. Another interesting thing is in the world building is that women, like men, don't know how to read or write, because reading and writing is like a womanly art. And so there's that. But then like, spoilers, something about the king, the maybe Dalinar's brother Gavilar, who died before the beginning of the book. Galavar, I think, revealed to Dalinar that he knew how to read or write or something, and that was like big scandal. But yeah, like I said, lots going on. I'm gonna look at this character list and get back to listening. Okay, so Way of Kings Taylor Swift blanket update. I have finished my 11th round. When I hold it up this way, you see the back, which is cool looking, but like, that's the actual part. Anyway, I've finished my 11th round, so the border is slowly growing, and I want to get to 25 rounds. So, we still are not quite halfway there, but we're getting there. And I am, like, I feel like in a rhythm with it, which is good. The one thing that I'll talk about crochet wise is that I've been, like, kind of like the corner increases. I've been just kind of like messing around. Like, I've just been kind of fudging whatever I feel like I need to do. Like, I was starting by doing like just 3 double crochet in the corner stitch. But then like it was curling a little, so I did like 2 3 2 in the 3 from the previous round, and it was still curling, and so I did some more increases, and then I went back to the 3, and then I did anyway. I've just been kind of, but as long as each one of the, like, all 4 corners are the same, I feel like it's fine. And now it's like nice and flat, and I feel like looks good. Way of Kings update. I am definitely getting more intrigued. Like, I'm at the 37% mark, I think, and I feel like I've been reading it forever. And I have so much longer to go. It's such a long book, but I do feel a little bit more intrigued and more invested at this point. To go into spoilers of what storylines I am the most invested in, definitely still Kaladin. I am loving the Bridge 4 dynamic, that like Kaladin has recruited people to like be fully on his side. Rock and Taft. I love Rock. I think he's so funny. So I definitely am enjoying that storyline. And I have also, what has made me like be more intrigued overall is that like Dalinar's visions. I think that storyline is really interesting. Like, what's going to happen with that? Is he crazy? I don't think he's crazy. I think like these visions are real, but it's definitely interesting to see the dynamic of him with his visions and his like code of honor and everything going up against all of the other Bright Lords that he's around and the rest of the military and leadership. I find that dynamic really interesting, and I'm starting to get a little more invested in the politics. I do feel like with that storyline in particular, the Dalinar, Adolin, Alucard, is that the king's name? Anyway, that storyline with all the lords, I do feel like they kind of dropped us into like politics without giving us investment in the characters first, or like world building first. Like, I normally love politics in my fantasy, like political machinations and like different people going face head to head in a political sphere. I really enjoyed that in my fantasy, but I do feel like it was hard to get into that because we didn't have any basis of what the world and the history and the conflict is like before we were dropped right into the politics of today, if that makes sense. Anyway, the other thing is that I still don't remember her name. I could look it up now that I have that handy dandy character list, but the girl who's the ward of Yasna Kholin, I want to go back to her storyline. We haven't had it since like the beginning of the book. I like really thought she was going to be a main character, particularly because she's one of our only female characters, and like that's a like female character led storyline, and we just haven't gone back to it. So that's a little bit frustrating. I would like to check in with her, but otherwise intrigue is a little higher now, and I'm getting settled into what's going on finally after however many hours. And yeah, I'm gonna continue, and I'll keep you posted when I have something else to say. Theory, spoilery maybe, I don't know, it's just a theory, but I think that Sadeas, or one of Sadeas's men, actually cut the king's saddle strap, as a way to frame Dalinar and Adolin and like stir the pot there. That's my theory. Okay, I just finished part two, and I'm in the interludes between part two and part three, and I gotta say, I am so confused. I had this same experience with the interludes after part one. Like, who are these people and what's going on? And where are we and when are we and, like, what is the significance? I don't know. But I'm along for the ride. Okay, so I did finish the 13th round, which means it's like making progress, and I am nearly, or no, I'm over halfway to 25 rounds. And I also am about 50% through Way of Kings, which sounds like it'd be good for like the prospect of finishing them at the same time. However, I started Way of Kings when I had already done 5 rounds. So really I've only done 8 rounds in 50% of the book, which extrapolating, I'll be on round 21 when I finish this book. And then I'm going to have 4 more rounds to go. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. We're just going to keep going. I'm into Way of Kings now. Like, I've gotten there. We are in part 3. We've got, why can't I remember her name? Shalyn? Her, Yasna's ward. We have her perspective again in part 3, like every other chapter, which is awesome. And spoilers, Kaladin just survived the high storm after like messing up the battle by doing the thing, and the Light Eyes said, oh, bridge crews aren't supposed to survive, blah, blah, blah. Bridgemen aren't supposed to survive. And he just survived the high storm, and so everyone's like minds blown, and I feel like that's really cool. And I feel like that storyline is going to get some real progression now. Like, I think it's possible that he'll actually go somewhere from here. Like, not that he hasn't been making progress, but like I feel like this is going to kickstart like recognition from the Light Eyes that he's the real deal. So all very exciting. I'm going to keep going, and I'll keep you posted. Hello, really quick check-in to say that I just finished my second pound. This is a pound of yarn. Loops and Threads Colorcraft in the color white. I will be moving on. This is my third. I will be moving on to this one tomorrow. Okay, I am at the very end of my screen time challenge, so I am exhausted. If you haven't seen that video, I will link it up here. You should watch it. But I have a couple things to say about this book. Also, I think I'm on the 16th round now. But first thing is that I'm still most invested in Shalon's storyline. I'm so glad we're back to it. She's an interesting character. I don't necessarily like her, but I'm very engaged with her storyline, and I want to know what happens, and the stuff that's happened recently has been really exciting. The second thing, and I will get into spoilers about this, but the first thing I'm going to say is that Kaladin is bugging me. And here's why. Spoiler warning. He is too perfect, and it is honestly boring to read about. Like, at first I was like, oh, I'm engaged in this. He's like a good guy. He's trying to do the right thing, but he keeps getting beaten down, right? He's too, like, just the writing is just like, he's too strong. He's too powerful. He's too good all the time. Like, I know he has all of this self-doubt and stuff, but like, I just read the scene where he defeats the flashback scene. Sorry if you hear my cat. The flashback scene where he defeats the shard bearer and then refuses to take the blade and plate. And it's like, come on. This guy is like so ridiculously strong and powerful to do that, and just has been this whole book. And then so like angelically good. It's just like boring to read about. So I'm frustrated with that. But otherwise it's going fine. I'm at 69%. I'm at 69%. Those are my feelings right now. I will keep you posted. I have to tell you, and of course there's no way of proving this, but I literally was like, in my head, I was like, I bet the wit is Hoyd. And lo and behold. Lo and behold. Hello. It has been like 3 weeks since I've updated this vlog, and also like 3 weeks since I read any in the Way of Kings, and also like 3 weeks since I worked on this blanket at all. So that's how this is going. Yeah. I basically, like, I had planned to do this all, finish the book, read the whole book, do the whole everything in February, and then I didn't make it. February ended, and then March occurred, and I had so many more new exciting things to do in March, and it just fell to the wayside. But it's now March 29th, and I really, really, really want to actually finish at least the book, not the blanket, but the book in March. So we are getting down to business. I'm at like 80%. I clearly am not that engaged, unfortunately. Maybe I'll get back into it. I know like the Sanderlanche is a thing, and hopefully we will get back interested, but yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm sprinting with Ruby. I'm going to spend a sprint getting back acquainted with this book and with this blanket, and we will go from there. Hello, I am on my way to a Joann's. It is, I don't know when this video is going to be posted. I'm hoping soon, because I only have like 10% of the book left, and anyway, it is April, and Joann's nationwide are theoretically closing by May. So this Joann's that I'm heading to, I think is still open. Will it have stuff? I don't know, because the website is completely useless. And if you call, they're like, you just get an automated message that says, like, we can't help you. You have to just come into the store. So I'm going into the store. We're going to see what's going on. If I can't find what I need at this store, there's another Joann's that I can try to go to. But basically the plan, like what I'm trying to do, is get a couple yards of midnight blue fleece to line the back of the blanket with. So I brought with me, maybe I'll show you right when I'm about to go in the store, or in the store, I brought with me a swatch of the blue yarn that's used, the navy yarn that's used in the midnight section, so I'm trying to color match that. And yeah, we're just on a Joann's adventure, because as I think you saw, I did try to go to a Joann's like a month ago, and that's the one that's closest to me, and it was already closed, even though, like, I don't know, it wasn't, whatever, it was already closed. So we're just gonna see what happens, and I'm gonna take you along with me, and I hope you enjoyed this little car update. I promise I am being safe. I don't know. Okay, red light update, so I have to keep my eyes on the light because I'm first in line. Anyway, that Joann's
was fine. They had like literally the fleece that I showed you was the only solid color fleece they had. They didn't have any other colors. They had a ton of patterned fleece, but not a lot of solid color fleece. And the one that I like put my swatch up against, it wasn't super close. It would work, and I might regret not getting it if I don't find anything better at the other one, because I'm going to the other one. Green light. And yeah, I'm going to the other one hoping to find better fleece, like a better color match. And also that that one was a mid-weight, and I would like a lightweight because the yarn, the crochet part of the blanket, is pretty heavy to start with. So hopefully we can find something better at this other Joann's. I did kind of black out and spend $60 on yarn that I don't need, so there's that. But otherwise, am I turning left here? I think I'm turning left here. Anyway, everything's fine. I did not get any fabric. I did not get the fleece. So we're going to the other Joann's and we'll see what happens. Okay, so major spoilers for the book incoming, so I'll do the little shrinky thingy so you can see. I'm at like 93% now. I just passed the big battle scene where, spoilers, Sadeas betrayed Dalinar and Kaladin's bridge crew went back to help. And I am more invested again. I feel like this book is just way too long, but and like I lost it in the middle. So Kaladin's bridge crew went back to save Dalinar's army. That's where I just passed. And I still feel like Kaladin is too good and too honorable for it to last. My prediction for the end of this book, no idea if this will come true, but my prediction is that Kaladin's gonna go back with Dalinar to the war camp, and Dalinar is gonna betray Kaladin. The same way that Amaram betrayed him when he earned his shard blade and plate. And that's gonna be like the last straw. It's gonna like kill all the rest of the bridge crew or something. That's gonna be the last straw, and Kaladin is going to turn evil. Saying it right now. I said it earlier. Kaladin's gonna turn evil. Kaladin is going to turn evil, and I think this is going to be the last straw because we're at the end of the book. I'm pretty sure the twist at the end of this book is that Kaladin's going to turn evil. Okay, I'll let you know if I'm right. I finished The Way of Kings. I did it, all 1,013 pages, read through my ears. I did it. And I'm going to give you some full, like, wrap up thoughts in a later clip probably, but right now I'm just proud to be done. Glad to be done. I am on the last side of the 19th round of this blanket. I'm going to do 20 rounds, like I said. So we just got to wrap that up, and then we can wrap this video up. Yay!
Okay, so I know I haven't talked to you, Taylor Swift Way of Kings vlog in like months, because I honestly have not. Like, I finished The Way of Kings and then I did not work on the blanket again for months. It is now July, but we are gonna finish it. I'm aiming to finish this thing today, maybe tomorrow, but like we're gonna finish this week for sure. I don't even know where I last updated you. I think I was just like still painstakingly doing rounds and rounds and rounds. I did last night finish the 20th round of White Border, and I'm calling it there. I'm calling it. We're done. So I finished the 20th round. Now all that's left to do is attach this fleece backing. And I will link the tutorial that I followed for attaching a fleece backing to a crochet blanket down below. Um, and yeah, we just got to get to it. I need to lay out my fleece, lay out the blanket on top, cut the edge. Like if you're supposed to cut like an inch on each side, leave an inch on each side of edge to fold over. Then you basically crochet like an edging around the fleece. So then you can slip stitch the two pieces together. So that's the plan. I gotta vacuum my floor so that I can lay this blanket out on it. I also need to make sure all the ends are secure before I put the fleece backing on. So the final deadline that's like getting me to do this is that I'm gonna see Danielle in just a few weeks at my wedding, and she's driving up here for the wedding, so if I give it to her then I don't have to ship the blanket, which is like actually really heavy, so would probably be expensive to ship. And also I want to do like a little photo shoot together with the two of us with our blanket, so with her blanket that I created. So that's the deadline, but I want to really get it done this week, so let's get moving. Okay, I just secured all the ends, so this is your final look at the back of this blanket, which I actually, except for that end at the top, that'll be secured at the end, but I actually think the back looks really cool, so I'm gonna just boop, 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 before I cover it up, and you can never see the back of this again. Beautiful. Okay, I am working on this border attaching the fleece, and I'm going to tell you about it while I do it. So initially I was planning on following this tutorial that I was going to link, but then I'm not actually using it at all, using that technique at all, so I'm not going to link it. But if you search like crocheting, like using crochet to attach a fleece backing to crochet blanket, something like that, you could probably find it. And I did like 6 stitches, and I was like, it took me like half an hour. I was getting so frustrated, and it looked bad. Like the tension just was not right. I couldn't figure out how to like space it properly in a way that was like consistent and not a pain. And it just was such a pain, so I unraveled it. And then I was like, and in the video she also said you could do like a blanket stitch edging around the fleece and then like slip stitch. And so I tried that, did a couple of stitches of like blanket stitch edging, and I was like, I don't like this either. And then also when you slip stitch into the blanket stitch, it's just not gonna look good. And I was on Zoom with Ruby of Ruby Red, and I was like, I don't know what to do. And she was like, have you considered just like blanket stitching the two pieces, the fleece and the blanket, together with a needle, like just blanket stitch them together? And I was like, I mean, I guess I could do that. I don't think it would look good though. And then I tried it, and I was like, it doesn't really look good. And she was like, what if you did your blanket stitches smaller? That might look neater and be more secure. So that is what I'm doing. That is what I have landed on. And so on the front side, it just looks like this. And then on the top, and then on the back side, we just have these little stitches. I don't 100% love it. I think if I had spent a really long time trying to master that crochet edging, it could have looked good, or looked better, but not worth it with the deadline that I have, and like just the other projects I want to be making a move on in. It just was not worth it to spend that time, so this is what I'm doing. I'm currently on the 3rd side out of 4, so I will be done fairly soon. And I am so ready, so excited for this to be done. It looks really good. I'm really happy with it and really proud of it. The fleece is really nice and soft. And It's like also got a nice weight to it. Like it's gonna be warm and it's got a nice like heft to it for like a winter blanket, but it's not like too heavy. So I'm really happy with it. Um, I will update you when it is done. But yeah, we are making our way around this blanket with the blanket stitch. Um, and it's working out well. I think this was a good decision in terms of this edging, and I'm happy with it. It's going to be quite secure and look not bad. So, thumbs up for not bad. Hello. I have completed this blanket. It's done. It's done. I did it. It's done. It is fleece lined. It is beautiful. It is on my head. I am so proud of it. I can't even believe I am so free. This is done. I can't believe it's done. I'm going to look up on my Notion when I started this, which I may have told you at the beginning of the video, but the beginning of this video was a really long time ago. Remember how I was reading Way of Kings? I finished that like 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago. I don't know. I started this on March 17th, 2024. Today is July 6th, 2025. So it took me over a year. By May of 2024, like the end of May at least, I was done with the pattern part. So this white border and putting the fleece backing on took me 13 months. So, that's crazy. I'm really happy with it. I'm really proud of myself for completing this. I know Danielle is going to love it. I'm so excited to give it to her in a couple weeks and do our little photo shoot with it. So look out on my Instagram for pictures of that. And comment down below something. This vlog was a journey, so like something about Way of Kings, something about this project, I don't even know. Comment something, like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next one coming very soon. Bye!